One person isn't a protest. Filming is not a First Amendment right. You're going to be getting your citations in the mail, or I'll come over there and arrest you.
That's it.
What's that?
Okay.
You want to know all about us, but we know all about you. I just want you to realize that we're good people, but we don't think you're a good person. Why should we like you? I think you need to be institutionalized. You would never call me names if I was out of this uniform. You know why? Because bad things would happen to you.
Welcome back to the LackLuster channel. On March 26 of 2024, Mr. Cyclist rode his bike to the Allentown Police Department in Pennsylvania to protest and record from the public sidewalk. It was not his first time protesting at this location, but on this day, seconds after starting his recording, Officer Dean Flyte exited the parking garage in a reckless manner, driving on the sidewalk while using the emergency horn. Warning: the following 60 seconds are very loud.
You dumb piece of shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the f? It's a public sidewalk, you dumb shit. Look at that nice bill you got. What's wrong with you? You see this guy? What's he doing? What is he doing? He's crazy.
Section 4571 covers visual and audible signals on emergency vehicles. Sub E states that the audible warning system may be used only during an emergency, in the interest of public safety, or by law enforcement when enforcing the law. The fine for a summary offense relating to the unauthorized use of the device is between $500 and $1,000. Mr. Cyclist would then bike around the building to read the numbers on the rear of the vehicle.
Learn to drive yet? Stay the hell away from me. Stay the hell away from me.
Check out the DA crime code about loitering. I got you around here again. I'm arresting you for loitering.
You don't know the law, dipshit. You just
the law.
tried to hit me with your car and hit your own damn building.
You're not enforcing the law.
And just as he was leaving, an officer exited the building to speak with him.
Are you gonna attack me, or can I talk to you? Can I talk to you? He just tried to hit me with his car. He hit the damn building trying to hit me on the sidewalk.
Well, you were blocking the gate.
I was to the side of the gate.
Everyone that just came in here said you've been blocking.
It's on video.
Show me it.
No.
Why?
Subpoena it.
Well, if you want me to do something about it,
What are you gonna do? Nothing. Captain Gross won't do anything. What are you gonna do? What are you?
Sergeant Chris Stephenson now approaches.
Look at his car. He hit the building trying to hit me.
Because you're blocked? Yes, because you're blocking it. So you can't do that because that's interference.
Where?
You can't
Where?
do that.
I was on the other side. I was by the grates. That's not blocking anything.
So here's the deal. You want a video? Go over there. Stay off this side of the sidewalk.
I don't have to.
Thing,
Traditional
or
public
I'll
forum.
fucking take you in for arrest. Got it?
What's your name?
Sergeant Stephenson.
Badge number. It's covered.
No, it's right there.
It's covered. Your wire is covering it.
That's not my problem.
Okay, fucking dumbass. Traditional public forum. I can stand wherever I want.
You cannot stand there for our ingress and egress out of the garage. To intentionally block us.
I was standing on the corner next to the wall and by the grates, not in front of the fucking gate, you dumbasses. Are you blind? It's all on camera. I took video of where my feet was.
Great, you gonna come show it to me?
No, because you're gonna fucking attack me.
Well, then you have no complaint.
I don't need to give you a complaint. I can just sue you.
Good for you.
Okay.
Courthouse is 5 blocks out.
Good one.
We're doing this to harass us.
Traditional public forum, First Amendment right to protest. I have the right to be here and voice my grievances.
Yeah, that's wrong.
What's wrong? What's wrong about it? Traditional
What are
public.
you voicing?
What?
What are you voicing?
My disapproval with your, everything you guys are doing.
Great. There are more constructive ways to do that than actually try to irritate us.
Constitution. I didn't block anything. I was standing on the corner. There was no gate in front of me, just wall. I was standing on the other side. There was no garage door in front of me.
And I'm asking you to vacate the area.
You can't. It's a traditional public forum. I have the right to protest here.
All you have to do is not block the garage.
I'm not. Can I walk over there by the pole?
Why don't you walk over there?
No, I can be on that side of the sidewalk too.
You can see the door as much as you want.
It's a traditional public forum. I can be there. I won't be anywhere near the gate after he tried to hit me with his car. I won't go anywhere near it. But I can be on that side of the sidewalk.
You were in the way.
What?
That's probably because you were in the way.
You are insane.
I'm not insane.
He
Because
hit
you have
the
evidence,
fucking...
You don't want to share it. Who's the crazy one?
Because you're thugs that attacked me. Captain Gross attacked me, and now this guy's running me off the sidewalk. Why do you think he's on the sidewalk? Because I was there. Because I was over there. What is wrong with you people? Are you going to arrest me if I walk past?
Yep.
On public forum.
I told you not to go there. So yeah, I'll arrest you.
Traditional public forum.
Don't fucking care. I told you, you're not walking there, and I'll arrest you.
All right. You guys all agree with this? All right. I see how you guys are. So, is everyone else walking down this road?
We already told what's going on. That's the end of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. You can't stop me recording.
Didn't say anything about it.
Listen, stop trying to go shit going on. We're done with the conversation.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I wasn't doing shit that is illegal. Everything I'm doing is constitutionally protected. Pull up the camera. Show me blocking the gate. I was right there on the corner blocking nothing. And I was well past the gate on the other side. These thugs. You gotta stand here all day wasting tax dollars?
Well, I told you multiple times to move along.
I don't have to. Traditional public forum. This is where you're supposed to protest. Traditional public forum. Do you even know what that means?
One-person protest ain't a protest.
Unfortunately, this isn't the dumbest thing Stephenson will say in this video. In legal terms, a protest typically refers to an organized public demonstration and often involves multiple participants. However, a single person's right to protest is also protected under freedom of speech and freedom of assembly, and although these rights are often applied to large groups of people, they also extend to the individual.
Jesse Cohen is showing us tonight a one-man protest can make a huge impact in a single community.
A man in Maquoketa to protest to have the investigation into a man's death reopened.
Reinvestigate the police killing of Drew Edwards.
Edwards died in 2019 after being tased twice by police.
We need better cops.
These officers appear to believe that if you say something that they don't like, they can prevent you from walking down a sidewalk by threatening to revoke your freedom through force. It's almost as if they have nothing but contempt for the US Constitution. But eventually, the officers wander off and allow another pedestrian to walk where they specifically excluded Mr. Cyclist because of the content of his speech.
Are they not letting you use groceries?
They're not letting me.
Hey, snack rock?
Fucking psychos.
Mr. Cyclist left for the day, but returned the following afternoon. Upon his arrival, construction crews were working on the road, but the sidewalk was taped to show where pedestrians could walk. He asked the first crew member he came across where he could be, just to make certain.
This ain't blocked off, right? This sidewalk ain't blocked off? Like, Not in anyone's way? I appreciate it, guys. Alright, thank you.
He continues walking the downtown area and attempts to file a complaint with Sergeant Ionetta.
Anyone gonna try and run me over today?
What's up?
Anyone gonna try and run me over today?
I don't know.
You don't know?
What happened?
Dean Flyte?
I can't hear you with your balaclava on.
Nah. Dean Flyte.
I still can't hear you with your balaclava.
You ball fat.
Always use that joke. Always use that joke.
Sergeant Ionetta appears again a few minutes later.
I want you to apply for a ride-along. Can you do that for me?
Sure.
Apply for a ride-along.
Sure.
You can tell me your life story. We can have a nice powwow. You want to do that?
Sure.
I can get you the application. You can tell me all about your life instead of you standing here and filming us.
What's wrong with me standing here?
Nothing. I just want you to realize that we're good people.
I think plenty of you are good people.
Oh, really?
But
we don't think you're a good person.
Why not?
Why should we like you?
I mean, you shouldn't like me, but I don't.
I think you need to be institutionalized is what I think you should be doing. How many times have you been institutionalized?
Let me count. 0 times.
Yeah. 0? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because remember, we know all about you. You want to know all about us, but we know all about you.
When have I been institutional?
You tell me.
That's what
Once again, I want you to put in a letter to have a ride along. We'll take you all over the city. You don't even need to bring your bicycle. Yeah, that's what you resort to. You resort to calling me names. Yet you would never call me names if I was out of this uniform. You know why? Because bad things would happen to you.
Bad things?
Yeah.
That you want to
So
take it
once
off?
again, I want you to put in for a ride along.
You want
I
to take
want
it
me
off?
to show you how cool it is to be a cop.
You want me?
Do you love cops that bad that you need to film us all the time?
I love how pretty you guys are.
Yeah, I'm cute, and I think you're a handsome fellow too. So why don't you put in for a ride along? I can take you all over the city. I could be your personal chauffeur.
I'm like exercising. I don't need you.
But you never ride your bike. You only push it.
I do 15 miles every time.
From you.
All the way around the city.
So then why do you constantly think it's funny to film us? What do you get out of it?
I find bad cops like Dean Flyte that.
So now you're fixated on one guy. Last week you were fixated on someone else.
Captain Gross?
I believe you need to be institutionalized.
Take me in. Take me in.
I think you need to go yourself. Where's your bike today?
I didn't want anybody.
You have your helmet.
I didn't want anybody thinking I was blocking anything. There is a nice man. I love this guy. Like.
And now you walk around with a balaclava on. It's not even cold out.
I'm biking.
You're biking. No, you're filming us and you're bothering me.
Oh, too bad. You bother people all day.
Why would I bother people?
It's your job.
It's my job to bother people.
Yeah,
and what do you think your job is? Oh, no, wait, you don't have a job.
You know what college is? You don't need
Yeah,
it.
where'd you go? Penn State? Wow.
How'd you figure
It's
that?
funny that we know that.
Wow, really? And it's not like you have facial ID scanners or whatever. You're one copy.
Yeah, and that's why you wear the balaclava.
Because it's cold. You'll see me plenty of times without it.
You need to get a life. That's what you need to do. You need to get a life. How old are you?
I'm sure you know.
You still live with your parents? It's nothing wrong about living with your parents. Do your parents know you do this?
Yeah.
They do.
I showed them one of your officers running me off the road yesterday.
Mr. Cyclist continues to film as shift change occurs, and eventually Sergeant Stephenson reappears, approaching as he recites Mr. Cyclist's home address.
Alright, that's where your citations are going to be going. Because I warned you yesterday not to come back and do this shit. Right?
Public sidewalk, I am protesting. There's nothing you can do.
You're
about
not protesting.
I am
You're
protesting.
being a nuisance.
I'm protesting.
You're doing the same behavior for no legitimate purpose.
Protesting.
No, it's not. One person isn't a protest.
Your 6 weeks of training doesn't tell you what a protest is.
And you don't have the knowledge to know what you're violating. So you're going to be getting your citations in the mail, or I'll come over there and arrest you.
Let's see it.
What's that?
Okay. Bro, I know my rights. Public sidewalks and parks. That is where you're supposed to protest.
But this isn't a protest.
Bro, it's a protest.
What are you protesting?
I'm protesting the police department being violent. You're the department that, who's the officer? LeBron beat up that guy in the alley, cost the taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm protesting you guys.
No, you're harassing us.
I'm on a public sidewalk, bro.
Perhaps the most easily triggered coward on the force now threatens to work the involuntary mental hold angle on Mr. Cyclist.
Do what you gotta do, bro.
I will. You're going in for mental health counseling. It's being marked in the report. And then they will come address you where you live. Right? With mommy and daddy?
You think you're scaring me, bro? You're not.
I don't care about scaring you. I'm telling you the facts.
There is no purer form of protest than on a public sidewalk.
And I told you yesterday not to come back here and harass us.
I'm not harassing
Because
anyone.
it is repeated conduct that serves no legitimate purpose.
Free speech. I am protesting.
As promised earlier, here is the most uneducated take from a law enforcement officer in a supervisor position to have ever been said on this channel.
You're not saying anything, you're not doing anything. Filming is not a First Amendment right.
There it is, folks. But unfortunately, this story isn't over yet.
Filming is not a first. Can you say that again, please?
Filming is not a First Amendment right.
One more time for the camera.
It is not a First Amendment right. It is not observed by Pennsylvania law.
You want to make the case law?
There is no case law yet.
You want to make it?
How am I making it?
Because it will get set in court.
Fine. Hasn't been proven yet. It's not observed by Pennsylvania law.
We have people that are stupid.
And I told you yesterday to stop doing this or you're going to face arrest.
Yeah, bro.
And yet you're back here, not only that, using obscene, lewd language in view of the public.
Obscene language has to appeal to the prurient interests. It is a very narrow precedent. If you want to go for
No,
it,
it doesn't. It's right under disorderly conduct. It serves no legitimate purpose, other than the fact that you are looking to annoy and harass us.
I am protesting. Do what you gotta do, bro. Do what you gotta do.
No, you're the moron that's standing out here in the rain to prove your point, which is stupid and kind of makes you look pathetic.
Whatever you say, bro. Whatever you say. You're the one getting all upset over some...
Because you're continuing the same misconduct over and over
It's not
again.
misconduct, bro.
How is it not?
It is a First Amendment right to protest. I'm addressing my grievances with the department.
No, you're not. You haven't said anything aside from call us names and try to instigate us.
Is calling names illegal?
It serves no purpose.
Is calling names illegal?
It serves no purpose.
Did you take an oath to the Constitution, bro?
And yes, it is illegal when you use obscene and lewd language in the public.
It's set the case
It is
law.
the very definition of disorderly conduct, especially when it serves no legitimate purpose.
I am protesting, bro.
You have no legitimate
You don't get
purpose.
to decide what a protest is.
One person does not make a protest. Once again, you look crazy and pathetic.
Just like a street preacher can stand on the corner preaching his religion, I can stand here protesting.
You're not preaching a religion.
Yes, I'm protesting.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're not chanting. You have no sign. You are harassing. You're pathetic.
It doesn't need to be a sign for a protest. I can do it. It's a
So-
protest and it's press. I'm recording for the press.
No, now you're just spewing shit. Okay? You're loitering.
When I publish this,
And you're
it'll be
annoying.
press. Loitering is very narrow. You just walked past me. I'm not obstructing anything. I'm not obstructing this sidewalk. People have been walking down this all day. It's a narrow law. You cannot
Yes.
apply.
And as a uniformed officer, I have told you not to be here anymore.
It's a
And to
traditional public law.
discontinue loitering here because of your behavior.
Do what you gotta do.
The department charged Mr. Cyclist for that day's exchange with loitering and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. But that summer, he pleaded not guilty.
We would enter a not guilty plea, waiver reading of the complaint, ask to proceed to that.
At this time, you may proceed with your testimony.
All right. So this occurred on the date of March 27th,
2024, on or about 1500. The defendant, who's seated next to his attorney to the table on my right, known to myself and multiple other officers due to his continued actions as the defendant, was once again outside of our patrol station, verbally abusing, harassing, and screaming obscenities on the public street, as well as blocking the sidewalk, as well as the garage door ingress egress out of our parking deck so that our officers in their both patrol vehicles and personal vehicles could not proceed. He had been warned multiple times on multiple occasions. I could go through the dates if need be, that he needs to cease and desist his actions.
So here's the deal. You want a video? Go over there. Stay off this side of the sidewalk.
I don't have to. Traditional public forum.
I'll fucking take you in for arrest.
Traditional public forum.
Don't fucking care. I told you, you're not walking there, and I'll arrest you.
Any sort of actual interaction with him is met with hostility, both verbal and through gestures. He continues to film us when he is advised not to do so due to officer safety issues. On this event, he was doing it. At the time, the unit block in North 10th Street, in which he was pacing back and forth, was closed due to construction, both the roadway and the sidewalk.
This ain't blocked off, right? This sidewalk ain't blocked off, like, not in anyone's way?
He was obstructing the construction zone, making their job difficult, as well as our officers. It was also pouring rain, so making his actions seem even more senseless. He was told to cease and desist once again, or he would actually face physical arrest. He actually left the scene.
You're going to be getting your citations in the mail, or I'll come over there and arrest you.
That's it.
What's that?
Okay.
But due to his continued actions, he was charged by a summons for the disorderly conduct due to his language and actions and the city ordinance for blocking the sidewalk.
Any questions?
Yes. So on this date, the March 27th date, did you personally witness some of the actions that you are testifying to today?
Yes, I did.
All right. Which actions did you personally witness?
Him on the sidewalk, blocking it, as well as the garage door, and then all of his obscenities and verbal abuse.
And what specifically did he say in terms of obscenities and verbal abuse?
Basically telling us all to go f*** ourselves.
You might be a snowflake.
Along those lines.
You are for damn sure a snowflake.
Okay. Did you witness this like through a camera or in person, or how did you witness it?
Both on our security camera and in person.
The security cam, has that been preserved?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I'm sorry, I can't go on. That's okay. Your tears say more than real evidence ever could.
Now, in person on the 27th, what did he say to you?
I don't accurately recollect, but it wasn't nice, and it certainly wasn't cooperative.
Did you have a body cam on?
No, I do not.
Figures.
Did you note down what he said in any of your reports?
I can check. I'm not sure if I have anything verbatim. Not on that date. On previous dates, I have some verbatim. And I also have all the multiple reports from additional officers in which we have dealt with him and his prior actions.
Okay. Kind of backing up a bit, you said that the sidewalk was closed.
That's correct.
And how was it marked as being closed?
They had tape and fencing up as well as signage. They had a crane operated in the unit block in North 10th Street for the building across from the patrol station. They needed everything cleared off, pedestrian and vehicular.
Okay. And the tape, did it go fully across the sidewalk to clearly block off any kind of pedestrian traffic?
At 10th and Hamilton, I believe they had fencing up, and they just had signage up at Court and 10th Street because we still needed access to get into our parking deck, which is in the unit block.
You liar!
Did the signage clearly indicate which direction was blocked off?
It's a one-way street.
And you said it was pouring out?
Yes, it was.
Was he blocking any pedestrian traffic in the area? I imagine not, since it was closed off.
No, aside from just being putting himself in a hazardous condition.
Was he blocking any civilian cars or anything?
Yes.
A damn liar, man. That's not true.
That you witnessed, I should say.
Yes.
Was he saying any of these kind of obscenities to just civilians, or was it just police officers?
Depends on which you determine as a civilian and police officer. As we're going in and out of work, I would say if they're off duty, they're civilians.
So aside from, for instance, off-duty police officers, there were no other just civilians that he was using obscenities towards?
Not directed toward, but certainly within earshot of everyone.
Okay. You mentioned other officers that he was making obscenities towards. Do you know which other officers?
On this particular day?
Yes.
Yes.
Which ones?
Is it relevant?
If the allegation, well, I'll leave that up to the judge if he's making a formal objection.
So you're objecting, you're saying relevance. I'll say overruled.
Yeah,
so you can answer it. What your response was going to be if you're alleging that the obscene gestures or language.
Correct. If that's all part of this complaint, then I'd say it's obviously not relevant. Which other officers?
All right. It's going to be a lengthy list of everyone going in and out during that time period since it's shift change in which your defendant makes his appearances. So it's the majority of my platoon, which included myself and Sergeant Ionetta. And then there was the outgoing shift, which I'm going to be hard pressed to remember people that aren't on my platoon, but it's basically the same exact number.
Were any of them wearing body cams or anything of that like?
That would be outside of my knowledge.
Were any body cams preserved at all in this incident?
In this particular one, since I was the only one that actually interacted with him, no. And given that we're in our own facility and we're just trying to go about our business going to and from our personal vehicles, there's no reason to have our body cameras active.
Has any video footage at all of this incident been secured?
Not to my knowledge.
And it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
You mentioned that there were some civilians that were within earshot during some of these obscenities, right? Mm-hmm. Were their names taken down?
No.
I have nothing further for us.
You indicated when counsel asked you about specific examples, and I think you alluded to something to the extent of basically yourself was the response. Can you? I guess he asked you what specifically the gestures were. I don't want to misword what he asked, but if you could just reiterate that, because I caught part of it, and you could just tell me what that was.
Certainly.
For the court's purpose.
The defendant really enjoys giving us the middle finger, as well as basically insulting each individual officer depending on their body type, what they're wearing, what they look like. Basically trying to agitate, irritate, and get a rise out of us.
It's not illegal, it's frowned upon.
Is there anything else, Sergeant?
No. No. Well, aside from the fact that it's a continued act, given the environmental circumstance as well as the weather conditions at the time, also the defendant manages to always show up dressed basically all in black with a full mask balaclava to do this. Continues to raise the risk seen to ourselves as officers and as civilians of the general threat that he seems to pose.
Oh, poor baby.
Okay, you mentioned him giving officers the middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
When was that?
When?
Yes. Was it on the 27th?
Yep.
Did you witness that?
Oh, yes.
Did he do it to you?
Yep.
Any other times on the 27th that he gave the middle finger?
No, I'm sure it's usually involving any form of response from one of our officers.
But not that you can testify to.
No, aside from the one that he gave to me.
Okay. He mentioned insults. You mentioned insults that he gave to officers. Was it on the 27th?
Yes, it was.
Did you witness these insults?
Yep.
Was it to you?
As well as other officers.
Do you recall the specific insults?
Not specifically, as I said, they were individually tailored to the officers that he was trying to irritate.
Did he make threats to you?
Aside from legal lawsuits.
I think that is a no.
No physical threats?
No.
Are you aware if he made threats to anyone, physical threats to anyone else?
Not physical threats.
Did you threaten him?
To arrest him.
Nothing else?
No.
Did you indicate you knew where he lived?
Yes, I did.
Did you indicate that you knew who he lived with?
Yes, I did.
In what context did you indicate these things to him?
Because of the implication.
Could you rephrase that?
Why did you tell him you knew where he lived, who he lived with, about his mental health issues?
Well, the fact that he lives basically on the... We know that. And that he takes the time out of his day to come down and harass police officers. And the need that perhaps his parents need to be involved to come bring him home.
Did you say to him, would you like us to call your parents to come pick you up?
Or to go home to his parents.
But not that you'd be willing to call them?
I believe it was offered to call them.
You're going in for mental health counseling. It's being marked in the report. And then they will come address you where you live. Right? With mommy and daddy?
You think you're scaring me, bro? You're not.
You mentioned he was blocking the garage, right?
Correct.
How is he doing that?
Well, it's a standard overhead garage door that opens and closes. It's on a timer. However, if there's someone standing there, can't really get through the garage door.
So he was standing in front of the garage door?
Mm-hmm.
For how long?
Sporadically, periodically, while he was trying to film police officers' personal vehicles.
So was it for seconds? Was it for minutes? Hours?
Enough where it was causing a hindrance for officers to get in and out of the parking deck. And they say it's on a timed door, so if time surpasses and the door starts to close.
If an officer was coming or going, would he stand in their way and not let them?
That's correct.
For what period of time?
Enough in which it is a hindrance.
The officers ultimately got out, right? Or
Yes.
got in? Yes?
Yep, both.
But you couldn't tell me over what period of time? Right?
No, not specifically. But it's enough that it's a hindrance, and it was a purposeful act.
When the officers were coming and going, they were in vehicles, right?
Correct.
Was that being recorded with their MVR?
No.
Nothing further.
Okay.
We would arrest you. I'll defer to you, but I think that the allegations that have been alleged here today have been too vague and frankly not supported by any kind of video or anything of that nature. Also, my client has a right to free speech. I know that these are words and sometimes that they can be hurtful, they can be upsetting, but that doesn't rise to a criminal level. And so I'd be asking for these charges to be dismissed.
Thank you. Any closing?
I understand the right to free speech. However, what the defendant does on a continual, consistent basis is harassment of officers at their workplace, irregardless of what their employment is. Anywhere else, it would be completely unacceptable. He's basically trying to irritate and cause an incident.
All right, so we have two different, and my job is to base the testimony to the law, apply the facts to the law. And the one charge is a misdemeanor, and that's disorderly conduct, obscene language. I do agree that the defendant has a free speech First Amendment, but within reason, right? And I know the officer couldn't articulate some of the stuff that was on here, but there's limits on everything. You can't do everything everywhere when you want, right? There's certain limits and boundaries to free speech. In this case, the provision that you're charged under is the obscene language. And I just, we don't have too many free speech cases in front of this court. I was just referring to some of our case law that we use as guidance on this. And I think, obviously, there was testimony that there was several incidents on several occasions that this occurred. But the court's perspective for today is just to look at it for just the date and time in question, that February rainy evening or afternoon.
March, Your Honor, sorry.
Oh, March? I thought it was.
I think
March.
it was March
I'm
27th.
sorry, March. But in any event, and the one thing, and so obviously the one clear point that we have clarity on was like the fuck yourself or the middle finger. And there's a case, Commonwealth v. Kelly, and Superior Court said that's not sufficient for disorderly in itself. And so I think with that, I have to dismiss this on the misdemeanor, but now we could proceed on the summary. I think the officer provided some substantial testimony that supports the loitering and the summary offenses. So I mean,
since we are moving to
local ordinance, so how about this? I'll say for purposes of preliminary hearing, based on the Kelly case, I'm going to dismiss the misdemeanor. We have two summary offenses. Is your client? How do you want to proceed on those?
Well, first I would defer to the officer, or sergeant, sorry. Because the misdemeanor is being withdrawn, I think he has first right to say
he could refile or
correct.
So I guess the options you have today, you could say, hey, just dismiss everything at once. Or two, you could say, I believe we can go forward on the summaries and you're trusting that we can resolve those today with, or you could say just dismiss it outright, or let's proceed on the summaries, I guess, is the two options.
I'm willing to dismiss it if the defendant's willing to finally cease and desist with his harassment.
I think my client's position is that he doesn't have to.
Well, we can go for it. I mean, here's what my thoughts are, and I'll just say there was testimony that was presented. I know the city ordinance is a little different than the state statute, and sometimes the city ordinance is a little off. I think there's, we can go through this loitering. There was some stuff that was testified to. I think that, just by glancing at it.
I mean, with regard to any kind of disorder, because I know the summary, the ordinance for disorderly conduct is on there. So I think any argument with regard to free speech that applies to the misdemeanor 3 disorderly conduct applies to the ordinance disorderly.
So I guess this is
as far as the loitering goes, it's a little different.
And so Sergeant's saying, hey, I'm willing to dismiss this, just square this up and everyone move on and turn the page and no further issues. Your client, if he says, hey, I'm not willing to, abide by that request, we can just go forward with the loitering. Is that what we want to do? All right.
Mr. Cyclist appeared again in February of 2025, but Sergeant Stephenson was nowhere to be found. As such, the disorderly conduct charges were dismissed, and he was found not guilty on the loitering charge. And now, Mr. Cyclist wishes to proceed with civil action against the officers and department for violating his civil rights and malicious prosecution. So if you're an attorney in PA and would like to take the case, you can reach me using the email below. And when the case moves forward, I'll be sure to provide an update. But in the meantime, if you liked this episode, be sure to check out another one, linked on your screen.